Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing this morning? Hope you guys all slept well. Happy Thursday. This is Reganelite here on the 19th of June 2025 at 8 a.m. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. If you're on Twitch, please hit that follow button and bell notification icon so when I go live, and if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, share across social media, and subscribe if you haven't too already. How you guys all doing? I hope you guys are all doing well. Cool. We're going to get to the weather in a bit, guys, but my goodness, it is warm. And even at this time, the temperature is definitely raising alarm bells. Today is going to be a really hot day here. But before I go that, just a reminder, we're going to look at the local weather here in London, and then we'll go to the daily quota. Then I'll talk about another seaside town, one that's not very big people really talk about, that I'll mention with you guys, and then we'll look at some of the world news. I think most of the news is going to be obviously related to what's happening in Israel and Iran. We talked quite a length, almost an hour yesterday on the Snowflake Watch about that, so we will talk more about that, and then what other stories that may be going on in the world. We'll be looking for at the Associated Press from NBC News, Al Jazeera, CNN, Middle Eastern Eye, the New York Times, and also, if we have time, Reuters, Euronews, BBC, the BBC, Africa News, and the Kiev Independent there. So if we have time to cover all of them, we'll do so within the hour as well. By the way, as well, I do have my fan on, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the dial just in case it's a bit too loud. It's okay. I've got the window open anyway, so hopefully it won't be too bad here. So let's talk about the weather, guys, because that's really quite a lot. So it's 21 degrees in London at this time. So it's bear in mind it's only 8 o'clock in the morning and it's already 21 degrees, guys. Nothing but sunshine from pretty much all the way till sunset. There is reports of a bit of cloud at 8 in the evening, but by then most people's not very good, be too fussed about it. Temperatures are expected to rise as high as 30 degrees by 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's going to get much warmer, much warmer as the day carries on, which is why, again, as much as I want to watch Graham Hughes and Politics Social, I need to go for my walk as soon as this live stream over, because I do not want to be walking out there, especially at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when it is 28, 29 degrees and the sun is beaming down on me. It's a bit too much for me personally, so that's why. But it'll be like 23 degrees by the time I go out, so it'll still be warm, but it won't be too much for me for my walk. So I will do that as well. Now here is what's the 10-day forecast that the weather app is saying here. In terms of Friday, that it's reporting that it will be 28 degrees on Friday, cloudy day. So what they're basically saying is that the temperature will drop for that day and it is going to be cloudy. However, Saturday they are expecting the temperature to rise back up to 31 degrees again, despite the fact that it's going to be cloudy. So the Saturday is going to be 31 degrees. It's going to be a very hot Saturday. Sunday it is reported to be as high as 25 degrees, so quite a dip in temperature there is what they're forecasting. Monday, sunny and cloudy, and the temperature is forecast for 23 degrees. Tuesday will be forecast 25 degrees on average. Wednesday, 26 degrees on average. Thursday, 24 degrees on average. And the following Friday, next week Friday, is forecasting 26 on average. So temperatures are basically going to be over 20 degrees pretty much, guys. So again, as I said it before, please take bottles of water with you. Have a bottle of water on your bedside before you go to bed as well, just in case you need it. Just stay hydrated, guys. It's really important for your well-being, whatever you guys are doing. Okay, so that is that is the weather for this morning, guys. So here, let's go to today's daily quota. It is unknown, this one, so we don't know who originally came up with the quotation, but there it is there to show that I don't make them up. See, I always have to do this. I feel like I have to do this every day just for context anyway. A very simple one, actually. The only limits in life is the ones you make. The only limits in life is the ones that you make. That is so true. That is so true. because we do set our own limits to our own mind and body, don't we? So it is absolutely true. That is for sure. Oh, I like tomorrow's one. Tomorrow's one's a really nice one from Livia Griffia Kiefer. Do you know what it is? It's actually... Well, I can't tell you. I have to wait till tomorrow. Sorry. I actually really like this one. I really want to tell you guys this one, but you're going to have to wait till tomorrow for tomorrow's daily quote. It's actually a nice one. I really like that one. Good morning, Alaston Kier. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying hydrated, my friend. Stay hydrated because it is very warm out there. Very, very warm out there indeed. Oh, thank you for the £5 super chat. All hail the Democratic Penguins Republic. Yes. We must, yes, hail the Democratic Penguins Republic, guys. If you can, please support. I know you haven't seen him this week, but he's been trying to stay cool, Pingu. That's why he hasn't been available. He hasn't been around much. He's just been trying to stay cool because of the temperatures, guys. And it is, as I said before, this room gets very, very hot. So it is a lot for the gang in here. So, what town are we talking about today, Regan, before we go to the news? Well, this is an interesting one. So it's actually quite easy to get to from where me and my partner live as well. Town is called Folkestone. Folkestone, guys. Where is Folkestone? Well, Folkestone is a town on the coastal. It's a coastal town on the English Channel in Kent, southeast England. The town lies on the southern edge of the North Downs at a valley between two cliffs. It is an important harbour, shipping port, and fashionable coastal resort for most of the 19th and 20th century. Just before I go any further, I want to show you some of the photos of Folkestone. Folkestone has a really nice beach. But it seems like, according to some people, that the shine is not there as much as it used to. I really like this picture here. This is actually quite a picture here. I just want to show you this, guys. This picture here. So what they actually have is like they have the sea, and then there's like a pathway, and then there's like an inner part as well. It's really an inner part of river as well. It's really, really nice to walk along. Me and my partner really had some nice walks in Folkestone. We really enjoyed the nice walks that there are in Folkestone. At least I found them too anyway. So just a bit more information that this location has had a settlement since the Meristic era. A nunnery was founded in Earsworth, the granddaughter of Aylesworth of Kent in the 7th century, who is still commemorated as part of the town's culture. And during the 13th century, it developed into a seaport, and the harbour developed during the early 19th century to defend against a French invasion. Folkestone expanded further west of the arrival of the railway in 1873 as an elegant coastal resort, thanks to the investment of the Earl of Arundel under the urban plan of Damascus Burton. In its Edwardian heyday, Folkestone was considered the most fashionable resort of the time, visited by royalty, among them Queen Victoria, Edward VIII, and other members of the English aristocracy. I can't say my words today, guys. Blah. The town's architecture, especially in the West End part, is a testimony of this period, with many impressive buildings, townhouses, villas, private squares, and large hotels built to accommodate the generally. After 2 world wars and the boom of the overseas holiday package, the town quickly declined. The harbour's trade diminished following the opening of the nearby Channel tunnels and the end of ferry service from Folkestone, but it still remains active in use. Yeah, the Channel tunnel. Yeah, this is a very good point. That's the Channel tunnel obviously took a lot. You know, since the completion of the Channel tunnel, which opened in 1994, there, it definitely took away from Folkestone, because Folkestone was a very an indicated port in terms of travel between England and France. I mean, there is that connection obviously from Portsmouth with the large ferries there as well, Southampton as well, and obviously Dover. But Folkestone had this as well, and it has hurt them. But they still have their perks. That is for sure there. Let me see. I don't really want to go read the there, but let's talk a little bit about the governance. Oh no, let's do geography wise. Folkestone is located in the southern edge of the North Downs. Encasement meets the sea, in contrast to the White Cliffs of Dover further to the east. The cliffs of Folkestone are composed of greenstone belonging to the Folkestone Formation and Gull Clay. A small stem Pen Brooks cuts through the cliffs at this point and provides original haven for fishermen and across channel boats. And the cliffs are consistently under attack from the sea and the original headlands, which once protected the pool. Long ago ceased to do so. Artificial protection in the forms of breakwaters and piers have been necessary since the 17th century. The town is now built on both sides of the original valley, the West Cliff and the Bale to the west, and the East Cliff on the other side of the stream. Pent Stream now runs through a culvert from the fire station at the junction of Randall Park Road, Park Farm and Pavilion Road. Until it reaches the inner harbour, remains of a quay dating to the 17th century. Were discovered under what is now a public car park between the old High Street and the railway viaduct adjacent to the current harbour. Included in the town is Cheriton, where the Channel Tunnel's northern exit is located, Newingtons and Penai. In August 1996, a 1 in 600-year storm left homes and businesses in Blackpool Road in the Ford Valley under 2 metres of water. Heavy rainfall combined with inadequacies in the Pen stream and local drainage caused a flooding. And the crowd of 2,332 saw Folkestone in Vigor play host to West Ham United in a beneficial football match following the flood. They have there as well the temperatures rise, but yeah, Folkestone Post Town postcode district is CT18 there. I like that, got there on the right there. Some little information there. From London, it's 71.3 miles. For if me and my partner were to go there, we could either walk to the main town centre or get a bus to the main town centre, and we can get a direct train from there, or we could get a train from our local train station and then switch to a train from Folkestone. It's not too bad to get to there. So let me show you some of the pictures here. This is my favourite one out of all of them there. You can see the beautiful beach there along there. Obviously see that there's some really nice houses along the side there here. Another great shot there. There is one or two really nice. They have some really nice built up hotels. This is one of the things I really like about them. The quirky little town like this. I love this kind of thing. These kind of little pathways here where they have quirky little shops in tight spaces like that. I mean, to some people they don't like these tight spaces, but obviously it says like really you can't get cars or vans or anything down here, and you can just walk and look at all these different kinds of shops. This kind of thing I really like. Again, another place along there with the quirky shops there. As I say, you can walk along the pier here. You see nice beach along that front there, and obviously the nice little sun houses there. Like I said, it's got a really nice harbour there, some really nice fashionable boats because people like their boats. As I said, here's another shot of the town centre there. There we go. A nice shot of the town centre there for you guys as well. Yeah, really nice little local businesses. I don't know how many I hope most of the local businesses are doing fine as well. This was under construction when I believe this hotel was under construction when we were down there, me and my partner, because I remember walking down here and seeing it under construction. But it looks like it's done now. Along this beach. I mean, like, my God, like I wonder how much money they paid for that hotel, because my God, it is to have a hotel like that, or is it an apartments? I can't remember, but to have that on the coast is pretty pretty impressive to say the least. There, this is a nice shot on the pier of the harbour as well. You walk along there. It's another shot there. This I actually think I recall this photo because me and my partner we walked on some of the green as well there. Another shot there of the water side. You also have nice pictures of the harbour there. For some reason the water is green here. There. There's some of these nice little quirky places around the water as well, which is pretty cool as well there. Good morning, Stephen Banker. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're staying hydrated like everybody else is expected to. Yeah, I mean, like, this is like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a hotel. I'm pretty certain from my memory. But yeah, it wasn't. It was still they were still working on it when we come in there. But Folkestone is definitely a nice seaside town. Do I plan on ever going back to Folkestone? Not really, guys. If I'm absolutely honest, it's not really. It's not really on. I feel like I've been there. I've kind of done it. I've seen what I wanted to see kind of at Folkestone. I don't know what more I kind of need to see there. It's a nice, like, maybe if me and my partner just wanted to go to a quiet beach, because I do think it's definitely a lot quieter than, I would say, Margate. Margate's obviously more popular. It's much more well established than Folkestone, shall we say? Or, as I mentioned, one of my first two seaside towns I talked about is Seafort as well. So it does have its perks, is what I will say. But yeah, if you ever do go on the coast, another one worth checking out, that is for sure, along the Kent coastline of England. Right, I need to drink some water before we get to this. And by the way, if I yawn or I'm attempting to yawn, it's not because I'm tired, guys. Remember, it's blimmin' hot. Remember, it's already 22 degrees, and it's 8, and it's like literally 8 o'clock, and it's 8:15 in the morning. So it's hard. It's hard with these temperatures, guys. Right. The first story I want to show you guys here from the Associated Press. So the headline is: Iranian missiles hit a main hospital in southern Israel as strikes wounds dozens here. I absolutely condone this action by Iran hitting hospitals here, whether it was deliberate or not. Doesn't change the fact that this is unacceptable. I know that Israel, some of the strikes that they are doing are definitely been out of order, and we talked about the strike they did on the main broadcasting hub, but we're talking about a hospital here, striking a hospital. We've mentioned about how Israel have struck the hospitals inside Gaza, and how inhumane and wrong it is. And this is no different. Whether it was intentional by Iran or not, it is still unacceptable to hit any hospitals nonetheless there. And if any lives were lost, my condolences goes out to them. I really, really mean that. So an Iranian missile slammed into the main hospital in southern Israel early on Thursday, wounding people and causing extensive damage, according to the medical facility. Israeli media aired footage of blown out windows and heavy black smoke. Another missile hit a high-rise building and several other residential buildings in at least 2 sites near Tel Aviv. At least 40 people were wounded in the attacks, according to Israel's Magen David Adom's rescue service. Israel, meanwhile, carried out a strike on Iran's Agrot heavy water reactor in its latest attacks on the country's sprawling nuclear program on the 7th day of the conflict. That began with a surprise wave of Israeli airstrikes targeting military sites, senior officials, and nuclear scientists. Yeah, it seems that originally it was obviously the attention was from Israel was targeting military sites and whatnot, but it's no longer that. It's now they're now targeting other things. However, they have civilian casualties have been, obviously we've talked about the civilian casualties that have been reported from Israel's perspective, but like this is just wrong from Iran's point of view. I understand like the anger and frustration because they've been struck at, but it's wrong, guys. It's wrong. We have to call it out for what it is. Iran has fired hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel, although most have been shot down by Israel's multi-tiered air defenses, which detect incoming fire and shoot down missiles heading towards population centers and critical infrastructure. Israeli officials acknowledge it is imperfect. The missile hit the Shokla medical facility, which has over 1,000 beds and provides services to approximately 1 million residents in Israel's south. A hospital statement says several parts of the medical center were damaged and that the emergency room was treating several minor injuries. The hospital was closed to all new patients except for life-threatening cases. It was not immediately clear how many were wounded in the strike. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the attacks and vowed a response, saying, "We will exact a full price from the tyrants in Tehran." Let's be absolutely clear, you started this war, okay? Israel did not fire the first shot, you did. Many hospitals in Israel activated emergency plans in the past week, converting underground parking to hospital floors and moved patients underground, especially those who are on ventilators and are difficulty to move quickly. Israel's military said its fighter jets targeted the Ark facility and its reactor core sealed to halt it from being used to produce plutonium. The target strikes the components intended for plutonium production in order to prevent the reactor from being restored and the use of nuclear weapons development, the military said. Israel separately claimed to have struck another site in Nazaruk, describing it as related to Iran's nuclear program. Iranian state TV said there is no radiation danger whatsoever from the attack on the Arak site. An Israeli state television reporter speaking live in the town nearby of Konograb said the facility had been evacuated and there was no damage to the civilian area around the reactor. As long as no lives were lost, obviously there. Israel was warned earlier Thursday morning that it would attack the facility and urged the public to flee the area. Iran has long maintained its program for peaceful purposes. However, it has also enriched uranium of up to 60%. In short, a technical step away from weapon grade level of 90%. Iran is the only non-nuclear weapon state to enrich at that level. Israel is the only nuclear armed state in the Middle East, but does not acknowledge having such weapons. Well, there's been no evidence to suggest otherwise. Yes, I get the whole, like, they have more uranium than others, but let's be clear that that's happened because Donald Trump ripped up the original deal that Barack Obama signed with them. The strike came after Iran's supreme leader rejected US calls for surrender and warned that any military involvement in America would cause irreplaceable damage to them. Israel had lifted some restrictions on daily life Wednesday, suggesting that missile threat from Iran on its territory was easing. Already, Israel's campaign has targeted Iran's enrichment sites and Nazareth, centrifuge workshop around Tehran, and a nuclear site in Ishkevin. Its strikes have also killed top generals and nuclear scientists. Yeah, we're already aware of that, but yeah, this is obviously the main story that's pretty much is not going away, I'm afraid, guys. It is something that myself and many others are going to continue to talk about. It is the main subject, and you know, for innocence from the innocents in Israel and Iranians, my heart goes out to them who are casualties of this needless war, because I do think it's a needless war. Whether or not Iran develops nuclear weapons or not, or whether they intend to or not, is not a reason to justify going to war. It's not, and I really just cannot stress that. And in terms of this war, and I kind of touched on. It's going to come out on a short video anyway. But the fact that this war has really kind of opened up divisions in America, as you guys may have known, we've talked a little bit about the divisions that are possibly growing. So Tulsi Gabbard has been sidelined in Trump's administration discussions on Israel and Iraq. Now, for those who watched the Snowflake Watch last night, you guys would have seen the video that I posted. This is the video, the same video I showed you guys last night of Tulsi Gabbard basically trying to play down the importance of not getting in, speaking out against nuclear weapons here. And the MAGA rift over Iran is playing out within the administration, with Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, at odds with other top officials and the President himself. So this basically means she gets shafted because she's not in line with Donald Trump, even though she had a position before, and it was the same position that the Trump administration had. The Trump administration shifted position, but she hasn't shifted position because she's supposed to follow the rest of the pack, but she's not here apparently. So National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard, an outspoken critic of past US military interventions abroad, appears to have fallen out of favour with President Donald Trump as he weighs military action against Iran, according to multiple senior administration officials with knowledge on the matter. Gabbard's allies insist that while there is some White House tension, some of the public blowback is overstated, and none interviewed by NBC News expects her to leave the administration as a result of the president's Iran policies, even if that includes direct US involvement. Gabbard politically perilously positioned to bust into the open this week when Trump brushed her back over a testimony to Congress in March. At that time, she said that U.S. intelligence community did not believe Iran was building a nuclear weapon, a comment at odds with Trump's recent public statement about the threats posed by Iran's potential nuclear program. I don't care what she says. I think they were very close to having one, Trump told reporters on Tuesday on Air Force One. And by the way, this was what the U.S. intelligence has said. Yeah, a person with knowledge of the matter said U.S. intelligence community view has not changed since Gabbard's testimony in March. Yeah. This is this is the context of the matter. So even though the intelligence is basically telling you, yeah, there's no nuclear weapons, Trump doesn't believe them. because Netanyahu says, we've got to, this Netanyahu's basically in his ear saying, we've got to side with me on this one. But the idea that a president would openly refute his director of national intelligence immediately spurs question about whether she's now iced out of decision making on the issue. It's also a rift that is playing out publicly in Trump's MAGA coalition, with some supporters advocating standing by Israel in whatever military action it takes against Iran, and others say intervention would go against the America First philosophy. Trump's criticism of US involvement in past conflicts and his campaign promise to be a peacemaker in his second term brought in unusual badfellows such as Gabbard, who has been a Democratic congresswoman. Multiple senior administration officials said Gabbard had been sidelined with internal administration discussions about the conflict between Israel and Iran. Even two of our allies who spoke to NBC News acknowledged that her standing took a hit when she posted a video on June the 10th after a trip to Hiroshima, Japan. The video, which featured the simulated destruction of American cities, and Gabbard warned about the dangers of nuclear war, annoyed the White House team. The officials said, "Why? Like, you don't, like, Donald Trump said he wants peace. Donald Trump wants to end wars, not start wars. This is what he said. At least that's what I thought he said. Maybe it's not." Gabbard did not attend a meeting of top officials on June the 8th at Camp David. The president is retreating in Maryland to discuss tensions between Israel and Iran, which raised fresh questions about her status in the administration. A White House official told NBC News that Gabbard was not present only because she had to take part in scheduled training as a member of the National Guard. Gabbard's past position on Iran, coupled with her recent comments on Trump's responses to them, have forced top administration officials into a difficult position. Gabbard has seemingly been at odds with the administration line, but not to a point where they feel they need to abandon her. Tulsi is a veteran, a patriot, a loyal supporter of President Trump, and a critical part of the coalition we built in 2024, Vice President J.D. Vance said in a statement Tuesday. She's an essential member of the national security team. We're grateful for her tireless work to keep America safe from foreign threats. Other Republicans, though, have taken shot at her recent Iran comments. She obviously needs to change her meds, Senator John Kennedy has said, told a Jewish insider last week. Gabbard has used her public platform to oppose U.S. military actions against Iran and has been working behind the scenes to try and find a diplomatic solution, to the administration officials have said. In one case, Gabbard has sought to enlist the help of European allies who have communication channels with Tehran, the officials said. The stands at times in direct conflict with Trump's public comments about the now open fight between Israel and Iran, fight he himself has acknowledged might now require U.S. intervention. Very interesting indeed there. And by the way, I have no sympathy for Tulsi Gabbard, especially with some of the comments that she has made in any way, shape or form. Good evening, Steve McMahon on the other side of the world. Thank you so much for the $5 New Zealand, my friend. How are you? Hope you are doing well. Hope you're staying cool and drinking plenty of water, because it is very warm here. Not sure what temperatures are like where you are, but yeah, it's very, very warm here in the UK right now. It's only going to get warmer, that is for sure. Not going to speak too much about this one here, but but again, this is a daily occurrence now. Israeli forces killed 72 Palestinians in Gaza, including 29 seeking aid. We watched last night one or two footage from Gaza where people were literally running for their lives and there was gunshots. I didn't play the sound of the gunshots, but you can imagine there were gunshots there. At least 29 people were killed in Israel fire at the crowds of Palestinians seeking aid in central Gaza, medics say. This is a daily thing now. Every day that there are Palestinians being killed, trying to seek aid, trying to seek food. Every day this is happening now. At least every day. At least 72 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli fire across Gaza since dawn, including 29 people who were waiting for aid trucks, Palestinian health officials said. The latest carnage hit people desperate to secure food for their hungry families. The latest indicates that the daily killings of Palestinian aid seekers in recent weeks took place on Wednesday in Salah Deir al-Street, near the Razarin corridor in central Gaza. Medical sources told Al Jazeera more than 100 others were injured in the attack, they said. And this is obviously piling up on the hospitals as well in doing so, guys. Which is, barbaric in it itself. I just want to share this one last story as well. I thought this is an interesting story here from CNN. Pro-Israel hackers take credit after $90 million has been stolen from Iran's largest crypto exchange. So, according to CNN, hackers stole the equivalent of roughly $90 million from Iran's largest cryptocurrency exchange on Wednesday, according to multiple independent crypto tracking firms. A skilled pro-Israel hacking group known as Predatory Sparrow took credit for the cyber attack, which appears to be aimed at further weakening Iran amid Israel's military strikes on Tehran. In a post in Fasri on X, the hackers said that they hit Iranian crypto exchange Nobitex, claiming that Iran used the exchange to skirt international sanctions. And in an extraordinary move, the hackers may have effectively thrown the stolen crypto away by transferring it to digital wallets that they don't have control over, according to multiple cybersecurity experts. Neurobit acknowledged the incident in a statement on its website on Wednesday, saying that access to crypto exchange has been suspended as a precaution until further notice. Crypto tracking firms Epirix and TRM Labs confirmed the crypto was stolen and sent to wallets or crypto accounts with an explicit that referenced Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, that's the IRGC. In a separate hack on Tuesday, Predatory Sparrow said it had destroyed data on Iran's state-owned bank SIVs, claiming the IRGC members used the bank services as a justification for the action. Iran's state-affiliated Fars news agency warned of potential disruption to bank services at gas stations. A source in Tehran told CNN that they've gone to about 10 ATM machines over the course of Tuesday and Wednesday and found all of them either non-functional or out of cash. Yeah, so very interesting there. I didn't think it never crossed my mind about Iran using cryptocurrency, but there you go, guys. It's been quite chilly over here, but a bit warmer today. So, oh yes, I think it's because because of the seasons, because of it's supposed to be essentially supposed to be winter time, based on your season, because we're in the summertime. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Because of the position of because of the rotating Earth, of course, rotating Earth going around the sun and whatnot. If I'm right on that, probably I'm not, with my lack of knowledge on that. Right, let's have a look see what all the stories are saying. We'll start with the Associated Press here, guys. So we saw that Iran missile hits main hospital in southern Israel as strikes wounded dozens. Also, other coverage: Iran's leader rejects calls to surrender and warns that intervention would harm the US. Trump says he's not looking for a fight with Iran, but stands ready to act if necessary. Putin says Russia could help broker a deal between Israel and Iran. We've heard that before, but nobody's going to allow that to happen, especially when right now they're kind of in a war of their own, Russia, so they really shouldn't be saying anything about that. What to know about COVID variants that may cause razor blade sore throats? A Michigan bear roamed the woods for 2 years with an awful lid on its neck. Not anymore. 2 years? Can we see this story? Can I see this story? Oh my god. 2 years. Oh my god. Michigan wildlife experts were finally able to trap a black bear by removing a large lid that was stuck around its neck for 2 years. It's pretty incredible that the bear survived and was able to feed itself. State bear specialist Cody Nolan said on Wednesday. The neck was scarred and missing hair, but the bear was in much better condition than we expected it to be. The bear first up on the trail cameras as a cub in 2003 in northern Lower Pennsylvania. After that, the Department of Natural Resources was on the lookout for the elusive animal with a hard plastic lid around its neck, Norton has said. The bear appeared again on camera in late May, still wearing the barrel lid, and the DNR responded by setting a cyanide trap and safely lowering him inside. The bear was immobilized with an injection on the lid, was cut off in minutes on the 3rd of June. The bear eventually woke up and rambled away. Angela Collar, a wildlife biologist who was at the scene, said she wondered about the bear's ability to climb trees with the uncomfortable accessory, and he probably laid more on his back when he was resting. Yeah. Norton said it's not precisely known how the lid got stuck in the bear's neck. Bear baiting is illegal in Michigan, but the hold on the barrel lid typically must be large enough to avoid what happened to this bear. Bear weighed 110 pounds, which is fairly typical for a 2-year-old. We were pleasantly surprised they were still able to make a living like a pretty typical bear, Norton has said. Yeah, that would have been like, if you look at the lid there. Yeah, that would have been very awkward for it to sleep, for it to climb, and yeah, that must have been very, very awkward for the bear there. It's extraordinary. But it's I guess you don't think certain animals can get round it, I suppose. Steve, thank you so much for the 2 New Zealand dollars, my friend. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. You and Alistair this morning. Much appreciated, guys. Space-safe rockets being tested in Texas explodes, but no injuries reported. Oh god, rockets blew up again. What a surprise! But can't he stop blowing rockets up? He just can't help himself, can he? Trump says supporters are more in love with him if ever as MAGA world splits over Iran. That's not what your military parade showed, did it? Trump remakes the White House with new flag poles. Okay, because obviously flags. Senate Republicans hold a hearing on Biden's mental fitness as Democrats boycott. Yeah, because that's really important to have a hearing on Joe Biden's mental fitness when he's no longer the president of the United States. Like, it's not like you ain't got other things to do, you know. Medicaid and Social Security go broke dates pushed up due to rising healthcare costs and new SSA laws. Government says Harvard researcher accused of smuggling frog embryos bought biological materials. New Zealand halts money to Pacific nation over China ties. There are 5 things the UN does that you may not have known. Eric upgraded to extremely dangerous category 4 hurricane. US forecasters have said. Well, at least even though there's been funding cut for the weather, at least they are still reporting some hurricanes, which is a good sign at least there. Kiev rescuers find more bodies. Death toll from the latest Russia attack climbs to 28. Massive security operation for NATO summit turns a part of The Hague into a fortress. US resumes visas for foreign students, but demands access to social media accounts. I hate that. Moment, jury finds Karen Reid not guilty of second-degree murder in the death of her boyfriend. I'm not interested in that story, if I'm honest, guys. Canadian Indigenous leader said he was filled with rage before intense conversation with Trump. Iran's leader reject calls. We all saw that one. Yeah. Trump says he won't call Minnesota governor Walz after lawmakers shooting because it would waste time. Well, you're supposed to be like, I'm so sorry I'm so sorry for your losses. My deepest condolences. No, didn't want to do that. Okay, because it's Democrats there. Absolutely terrible person Donald Trump is. I can't even do that. Can't even do that. Right, this is NBC News. Israeli hospital damaged in Iran's missile strike. We talked about that already. Trump and US intelligence appear at odds over Iran's nuclear program. Stealth bombers and bunker busters. Why striking Iran's nuclear sites is such a difficult feat. Yes, because they're quite deep underground. Tulsi Gabbard sidelined discussions on Israel and Iran. Talked about that already. Excuse me. Hundreds gathered to remember a prominent Minnesota lawmaker and husband slain in her home. Maldi denies Trump claims that he stopped the war between India and Pakistan. I got that in a short video. I could drop in, I think, tomorrow, that one. Karen Reid found not guilty of murder. US still ceases trading on the NYSE. Excuse me, as Japan, Nippon finalizes takeover. 2 men get life sentences in New Mexico shooting. Death of 11-year-old that prompted gun ban. Salt Lake City volunteer accounts of deadly shooting questioned after video emerges. Scooters ruling on transgender youth medical care leaves broader legal question unresolved. I don't know if you guys saw the story I posted. There was this story that really infuriated me on Twitter. Apparently there's a suicide line specifically for LGBT plus people in America, and it's been ceased for 30 days by the Trump administration, apparently. A suicide line. A suicide call line. For 30 days. It's been ordered to halt for 30 days by the Trump administration. I'm pretty sure I posted it on Discord. Oh, there we go. This is it. Trump administration has shut down LGBTQ youth suicide hotline. The 998 suicide and crisis lifeline will no longer use its LGBTQ plus youth service starting July the 17th. The Trump administration said the move will focus on servicing all help seekers. The agency said it will no longer silo LGBT plus youth services, notably removing the T representing that trans community in the initiative to focus on serving all help seekers, including those previously served through the press-free option. The press-free option rolled out as a pivotal program in 2022 in a government contact with the Trevor program, the suicide prevention and crisis intervention organisation for LGBTQ people. Those in need of help will call 988 and be given an option to press free to connect with counsellors trained to assist people up to the age of 25. The Trevor Project was initially the sole provider of the youth specialised service and is now one of the 7 centres that make up the LGBTQ youth sub-network. It came under legislation President Donald Trump signed during his first term that acknowledged disproportionately high suicide rates among LGBTQ youth. SMA HFA insisted that affected youths can still receive help, but from a general hotline number. Everyone who contacts 998 Lifeline will continue to receive agreed to skilled, caring and cultural competent crisis counsellors who can help with suicide, sustainable misuse or mental health illness, mental health crisis or any other emotional distress. Anyone who calls the Lifeline will continue to receive compassion and help, the agency said. Trevor Project CEO James Black called the decision devastating, adding suicide prevention is about people, not politics. He said the program has provided life-saving service to more than 1.3 million LGBTQ youth people. The administration's decision to remove a bipartisan evidence-based service that has effectively supported a high-risk group of young people through their darkest moments is incomprehensible. The fact that this news comes to us halfway through Pride Month is callous, as is the administration's choice to remove the T from the angering LGBTQ+ in their announcement. Transgender people can never and will never be erased, Black said in a statement. He called on Congress to reverse the decision and assured the public that the Trevor Project will continue to help those in crisis. I want every LGBTQ plus young person to know that you are worthy, you are loved, and you belong. Despite this heartbreaking news, the Trevor Project crisis counsellors are here for you 24/7, just as you have always been, to help you navigate anything you might be feeling right now, Black said. The Department of Health and Human Resources proposed budget for 2026 eliminates this Hotline's Youth Special Service program this month. Absolutely fucking infuriating. Sorry for the language, but yeah, I just had to say that. Supreme Court upholds Tennessee ban on trans youth medical care. Post promoting child sexual abuse content floods some X hashtags and exclusive they have there. What are you doing about that, Elon Musk? Court adjourned after juror calls out sick. Extreme heat posed to blanket much of the US this week. Yeah, you're telling me. Mustafa Kali and a Trump admin clash over new requests to release or transfer him. 2,000 more National Guard troops in LA as legal battle over deployment continues. Trump's tug of war at the center of Trump's Iran decision. RFK Jr. picks for vaccine. Advisory panel raised concerns about anti-vaccine bias. It is anti-vaccine bias. It is going to be biased. We know it's going to be biased, guys. Let's move on to the next one here. This is from the front page of Al Jazeera at the moment. Breaking news: Iran's missile strikes as nuclear reactor targeted in Iran. This is just breaking now. Israeli forces kill 72 Palestinians in Gaza, including 29 seeking aid. Mapping Iran's most significant strikes on Israel. Why Israel wants US bunker busters to hit Iran's for those nuclear sites? Because they think they have nuclear weapons down them, that's why. Iran gives Netanyahu political breathing room in Israel, apparently. Iran war, sorry. How has Iran managed to pierce through Israelis' air defense systems? Nipton Steel acquires US steel for $14.9 billion after months of struggle. Nobody knows what I'm going to do. Trump embraces ambiguity towards Iran. Steve, thank you so much for another $2 New Zealand dollars here. Sorry, I can't click the like button again. Sorry, I need more comments in the chat before I can do that. But thank you again for the $2 New Zealand dollars. Much appreciated. Did Trump approve Israel's attack on Iran, and is the US prepared for war? About to denied by Al-Hali in real debut. Okay, that's football, sorry. Israel-Iran conflict rages with ongoing aerial strikes amid war of words. Palestinian shelters exclude Palestinians as bombs rain down. Yeah, Palestinians are not allowed in Israeli shelters, apparently. They've been excluded, which is pretty disgusting. How will Russia respond to the Israel-Iran conflict? Well, they're a bit occupied right now. I don't know about you. Stories on the US there, on UK, sorry, there. Yeah, that's about it at the moment for Al Jazeera there. Let's have a look and see what CNN are saying here. This is on the world. We'll go to the front of CNN in a second. Israel and Iran trade strikes. That's pretty much the main topic of pretty much of most media, as you guys know. British lawmakers voted to decriminalise abortion. Yep, we've seen that already. Sole survivor of Air India crash. Lady's brother to West after leaving hospital. Air strengthens in a Category 3 major hurricane and it's approaching Mexico's coast. Dozens killed by Israeli fires. Assault desperately needed aid to Gaza. Again, talked about that. And the crypto hack we mentioned earlier already. 28 killed in deadliest Russian strike in Kiev in almost a year. India, Canada signal reset of relations nearly 2 years after the assassination of Sikh separatists. That's a good sign. Yeah, that's a good sign there. Thank you, Sakir, for the £5 super chat. There we go. I'm able to click them just to hit the goal. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. No worries, Aston. It's fine. You've been very generous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And you, Steve, as well. Thank you guys both for your super chats. Very generous, guys. Thank you. Let me see. Anything else? Let's have a look at the front page of CNN. I want to see what's got here. Hospital damage. Yep, we know about that. Oh my god, let me get rid of that giant black thing on top, black part on the top. Anxiety grips Arab Gulf states over the threat of nuclear contamination and Iran's reprisals. A US strike on Iran could open a Pandora's box in Middle East experts warn. What else? 24, the world's best salads. Texas instrument to invest more than $60 billion to make semiconductors in the United States. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would want to build them themselves rather than relying on Taiwan and other foreign nations for them. US Steel, once America's biggest company, now under foreign ownership. US embassies must vent students to hostile attitudes, but can resume feeder appointments, State Department said. Wife of Colorado attack suspect says she and her 5 children are suffering in ICE custody. First methane-powered sea spider found crawling on the ocean floor. Methane-powered sea spider. Heat-trapped methane, best known for the dangers it poses to human and Earth atmosphere, but the dark depths of the ocean, the greenhouse gas is a nourishing meal for some of the world's most mysterious creatures, new research suggests. Scientists have discovered a previously unnamed species of sea spiders off the US west coast that could team up with the bacteria to thrive off gas bubblings from the seafloor in sparsely studied marine habitats known as methane seeps. Seeps thousands of feet below the ocean surface. In a symbiotic relationship, bacteria takes up real estate of spiders' exoskeleton, and in return the microbes convert carbon-rich methane and oxygen into sugars and fats the spiders can eat. According to a study published on Monday in the journal Proceedings of the National Academies of Science. Just like you would eat eggs for breakfast, the sea spider grasses the surface of its body and it munches all those bacteria for nutrition, said Shana Godfrey, a professor and chair of biology at Occidental College in Los Angeles and study principal investigator. This unique nutrition strategy has never been observed in sea spiders before, she said. Other species of sea spiders share more in common with their terrestrial cousins, using large tube-like fangs to capture, immobilize, and suck the fluids from soft bodily prey, such as jellyfish, Godfrey explained. But labs' observations of this newfound species, part of the Ceragoscos genus, revealed the lack of the necessary apparatus to capture prey, making them more akin to farming, harvesting methane-fueled bacteria from their own bodies. Interesting. Not a fan of spiders, me personally, but I still think it's an interesting methane-consuming spiders. Well, that's just the way you have to make the adaptations in the world today, guys. Middle East tonight, I think we know what they're going to be. Headlines are going to be. Israel said it's destroyed Iran internal security headquarters, apparently. Meanwhile, Kamagaski said Tehran will not yield to threats or impose peace. Israel attacks Reagan Gulf War trauma as Iranians attempt to flee Tehran. Why Netanyahu is fractiously trying to pull the US into Israel's war on Iran. Israel seeks dozens of aid seekers as internet is disrupted. Poor child. While Israel's attacks are backfiring as Iranians rally around the flag. US Senator Ted Cruz faces backlash for not knowing basic facts about Iran. Yeah, we covered some of the clips from last night's Tucker Carlson interview. I still haven't watched it. It's on my jobs list. What do we know about Israel's own nuclear weapons? Trump promised not to go to war. His most ardent supporters want him to keep his word. Yeah. Majority of Iranian Americans oppose US strikes on Iran, polls find. Diego Garcia, the Indian Ocean base the US can use to target Iran. Yeah, see Diego Garcia, the base that they're going to have for another 100 years at least. As Trump weighs bombing Iran's Fordo, mission creeps lurks behind US attack. And Iran vows fully independence defense industry amid Israel-Iran conflict. I do recommend, guys, checking out. There was a video from Double Down News that highlighted how the Arab states are secretly supporting Israel. It was a very fascinating piece. Worth looking at. YouTube.com/Double Down News, just for reference. Just a reminder that in 10 minutes, Graham Hughes will be doing his morning brew, and then myself and One Angry Pagan will be doing the EcoFlake show tonight at 8 p.m. Don't forget to check out youtube.com/The Two Davies. The Two Davies, Damon Gents will be doing the pay-per-view at 10:30 this morning. Then there will be the Two Davies show at 4 p.m. this afternoon. If you can join him, if you could join him for those shows, it'd be greatly appreciated, guys. Trump, Iran, and the spectre of Iraq. We brought all the happy talk. President Trump is pondering swift military action in Iran. There were similar expectations that the war in Iraq would be quick and triumphant. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be the same thing. US strikes on Iran will bring risk at every turn. Yep, I do agree with that statement. Israeli strikes have killed hundreds of civilians across Iran. Israel says Iran's missiles have struck major hospital. Well, we saw a picture of the hospital, so pretty confident that it has been. Tehran is about as densely populated as New York City. Trump's base in uproar over his openness to joining Iran's fight. Trump's travel restrictions bar doctors need at US hospitals. Limit on travel and visa appointments have delayed or prevented foreign doctors from entering the country for jobs set to begin in weeks. US to review social media posts of student visa application. Yeah, so they basically said those who want to restart basically oh, no show. Okay, there's no 4 p.m. show. Okay, no worries. Thanks for that, Alaston. No worries. Yeah, so there's just the morning show then. Just the morning show at 10:30. State Department is restarting process of visa applications from students and visitors, visiting scholars, but screening of hostilities towards the US. Yeah, if you say anything bad about Trump in your social media post, you're not going to get in, basically. Under China threat, Taiwan needs its own power sources more than ever. If you choose an AI model that harms the plant less. NATO is doing just fine, thank you. So an opinion piece there. Quietly, Pakistan wages a deadly drone campaign inside its own borders. How Amy Colden Barrett is confronting the right and left. Republican fight uphill in Virginia race. How Jaws made a template for the modern blockbuster. Oh yeah, all the famous ones there. Regulators approve a twice yearly shot to prevent HIV infections. The Trump could change the course of AIDS epidemic, but the Trump administration gutted programs that might have paid for low-income countries. FEM holds rates steadily fast among economic insecurity. The Reagan appointed just fast-tracking President Trump to trial. Judge William G. Young's long career has been punctuated by high-profile cases now exposing an advocate for judicial value and fact-finding power. Where humans learned to live everywhere about 70,000 years ago in Africa, humans expanded into more extreme environments, and new study finds setting the stage for our global migration. Hurricane Eric nears South Mexico's Category 3 storm there. Austria moves to tighten gun laws after deadly school shooting. That was last week. That was storied there. How Chinese car makers doubled their share in the European market. New owner of High Times magazine bets on counterculture combat. Social Security finance rolls further, risking benefits cuts. Britain braces for its first heat wave of the year. We're already in it, thank you. And sports there. So that is some from the New York Times there. I've still got quite a few here. We'll see how much we can get through from some of these other news outlets here, guys. This is from Retro's. Trump faces uproar from MAGA base over possible Iran strike. Israel attacks Iran's nuclear sites. Putin says he does not want to discuss the possible Israeli-US killing of Iran's supreme leader. So he's not in favour of it then. European ministers to hold nuclear talks with Iran on Friday in Geneva, a source has said. Iran's leader sees his inner circle hollowed out by Israel. Fed keeps rates steady but pencils 2 cuts by the end of 2025. Powell seals meaningful inflation ahead. Japan to cut super long bond sales by 10% to calm markets, draft shows. S&P 500 ends nearly flat, gives back gains. Fed power set inflation rise. US added over 1,000 new millionaires a day last year, UBS report says. United States adds over 1,000 new millionaires a day last year. A day. A day. Wow. That's insane. Oil tankers near Iran appear to be rural Russia as signals are jammed. US to drop guidance on limit alcohol to 1 or 2 drinks per day, sources said. How the world's top ad agencies align to fix prices in India. Malaysia obtains a legal court over against Telegram for allegedly spreading harmful content. Clean energy has fans in Trump's America, complicating budget talks. And those are some other stories there. US judge blocks Trump passport policy targeting transgender people. US judge invalidates Biden's rules protecting privacy for abortion. US Supreme Court upholds Tennessee law banning youth transgender care. Those are some of the stories from Reuters there, guys. Let's have a quick look at Euro News. More on Iran and Israel there. Trump approves Iran's tax plans, apparently. Lukavisa cannot be trusted. US envoy visit. EU divided over Israel's right to bomb Iran. They don't have that right. They broke international law. There's no discussion over it. Space test rockets, giant fireball. Federal Reserves keep interest rates unchanged amid tariff uncertainty. Trump demands Tehran's surrender. US Supreme Court upholds Tennessee. I'm just seeing if there's anything specifically for Europe here. EU Parliament seeks extension for time for spending EU post-COVID money. MEPs clash in a fierce debate on Hungary's Pride ban at EU Parliament. Why is it a fierce debate? You need to call it out. You just call it out. Like, what's the fierce debate about? China hits back at von der Leyen's baseless biases speech at G7. We don't need Bedos. Veteran plans to protect billionaire's wedding. And that's there's not much there from Euro News. Yeah, let's have a quick look at the BBC. Just have a quick look at them. Yeah, looks like we're not going to have time for the others. Iran's secret nuclear site that only a US bomb could hit. That's from BBC Verify. I agree with that. Most have said that already. Trump approves Iran's attacks plans, but it's not made final decision, report says. What should we do? Seeking clarity in Tehran as Israel flies jets overhead. Just a reminder, tomorrow's Good Morning Show will feature UK and world news as there. So if you're, so I'll be covering news from both UK and the world for tomorrow's one. If you want to join me for tomorrow's show, guys. Trump joining Iran strikes, calling for unconditional surrender. Checks fake dental gave root canals after reading online instructions. Feds hold interest rates for the full time despite tariff turmoil. Kenyan miracle baby passenger dies in a road crash. Lone Air India survivor carries coffin of brother killed in the crash. The teen who filmed the Air India crash video the world saw. Russia fears another loss in the Middle East from Iran's conflict with Israel. Yeah, he's losing a few friends, Russia, isn't he? Losing a few friends. So that's the world point of view from the BBC there. Still got 2 minutes left. Can I have... Thank you. Just quickly have a look here. Sudan's war fueled by external arms flows into the country. Tyson Perry accused of sexual lawsuit in $200 million lawsuit. Father of shooting victim calls for Kenyan police to be held accountable. Iran urges citizens to delete WhatsApp alleged spy links to Israel. Abu Dhabi hosts first Global South Economic Forum. Heroes welcome for South Africa's men's cricket team. Just looking at news on the right hand side here. I don't know if you can see it. Formula 1. The 28th St. Petersburg International Economic Forum opens in Russia. Israel targets missile sites in Iran to meet escalating tensions. Chinese city of Zhongjiang is the world's biggest producer of wigs. Father shooting victim calls for Kenyan police to be held accountable, which we saw already. Kenyan police officer arrested for shooting unarmed man in the head. I've covered that in a short video. Visa denied. African travellers hit hard by soaring Schengen rejections there. I was hoping to cover the Kiev Independent, but we'll have to leave that, guys, because we have hit the hour mark here. Yeah, some interesting stories there from the world news, guys. Again, just a quick reminder, Graham Hughes from Morning Brew will be starting any moment now. Then Dave McGinnis will have these paper review at 10:30. I'm going to head out for my walk now while the temperatures are not too hot, because it's going to get very, very hot later on. I will be back tonight with myself and One Angry Pagan. We'll be looking at the environment, be looking at climate change, obviously these soaring temperatures. So it's obviously very important we have to talk about this stuff, guys. Do join us for that show, the EcoFlake show tonight, if you can, please do. A reminder as well that the following it is the following week. The following week, the roundtable will return. Myself, Daily Blase, All Shorts, and Random Scottish History will be together next Thursday. And just a reminder, I also have another show tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So if you can join me for that, thank you. It would be much appreciated. Well, thank you, Stephen Moore, for your super chats. Thank you, Alston Keir, for your super chats as well. Really much appreciated, guys. Do drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated, guys. It's going to be warm out there. Cannot stress that enough. Really do take care of yourself, guys. But on your way out, just if you haven't already, please hit that like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.